group and your here part of the studio. So closing down the eyes. Just starting to gently connect to your breath. As you know, with our Yin Yoga practice, there is no particular Yin breath. There's no Ujjayi breath. It's simply about observing the breath. Having said that, we all know that connecting to the breath slows down our breathing. Slowing down our breathing brings us into a state of equilibrium, a state that is, in these challenging times, very challenging to obtain. And yet, as yogis and as people who practice breath awareness, we can easily come into a state like this. So notice your breath. And notice the sounds around you. Notice how you're comfortable within those sounds, even though they're unusual. They're not what you normally hear when you're here in the studio. Feel the surface underneath you. Perhaps even that is different to the studio surface. Maybe you've got a decking underneath you or a carpet. Beautiful. Nice. And just starting to notice the inhalation breath, the air being cool. The exhalation breath, the air being slightly warmer. Nice. Perhaps you would like to set an intention for your practice this morning. Perhaps the intention is simply to connect to your physical body. Admittedly, we're all a little more in our heads, and that's absolutely fine, and the thoughts and the emotions fluctuate and come and go. So the physical practice of yoga brings us into our physical body, finding that connection with heart, mind and body. Let's chant an Om. Let's exhale together. Take an inhale. Beautiful. And I'd like us to stay seated for a moment. If you wish to bring your hands in Gyan Mudra, Mudra of knowledge, index finger and thumb touching, then do that. Otherwise, keep your hands in prayer position. And we're going to start with a few rounds of square breathing. The idea is to inhale to the count of 4, hold the breath to the count of 4, exhale to the count of 4, and then hold again. And then we come into our first posture. So let's do this together. Let's exhale. Take an inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Start again and allow it to become yours. If the count that I've given you is too much, not appropriate this morning, then settle it to a count of 2 or 3, or intuit it the way it suits you. Just allowing those 4 sides of the square of the breath be of even length. Just allowing yourself to come into the body and let go of the outer distractions. I will leave my mat for a moment. Someone has sent me a text, maybe you can't see properly. Feel into your square breathing. Allow yourself to feel your square breathing. Beautiful. Nice. Keep going for a couple more rounds. And you see with yoga practice, regardless of what style, we just want to find that stilling of the mind, stilling the fluctuations of the mind. As Patanjali says in the sutras, and Sutra 3 goes even further and says it's the mind turning inwards on itself, becoming the observer of our internal workings, especially in times when we cannot control what's going on outside of us externally. Beautiful. Nice. Very slowly now, after your next exhalation, just let the breath come back to a natural rhythm. Notice though how the gap, the gap between inhale and exhale and inhale becomes so much more significant. And then see if you can consciously feel into that little gap without making it a breath retention. Feel into that Zen-like peaceful state where there is an abundance of energy, an abundance of peace, of sunshine, of goodness. And this, and whether we enjoy that or we like this or not, this is that breath by breath moment that we have control over, that we pass the time. Beautiful. Nice. And then slowly allow yourself to release the hands out of your mudras. When we open the eyes, it's always a good idea to look down the nose and gently lift the gaze. Beautiful. And even though this is a yin class, let's come onto tabletop. Let's do a few rounds of cat and cow. Cat and cow position. Yep. You still hear me okay? Still everything okay? Beautiful. Cat and cow, rounding the spine and concaving the spine. Beautiful. Nice. And then we go sideways. We wiggle the hips to the right. We look over our right shoulder. We wiggle the hips to the left. Look over our left shoulder. Beautiful. Yeah, here we go. That's it. And now we circle. So we circle the belly button. We circle the spine up to the ceiling, over to the right, let's say, down to the floor, over to the left and up again. Circular motion. Beautiful. And then we circle the other way, just getting in touch with your physical body, a bit of movement so we can appreciate the stillness in our yin shapes. Excellent. Beautiful. Let's come to a standstill. Now, if you have a bolster, you will use your bolster. If you have a blanket, roll up blankets. If you don't, you can use your mat. And we're starting with a back bend. We are going to start with a stronger posture. We're bringing the bolster. If you have a bolster or whatever you've got rolled up, underneath the rib cage, legs in a butterfly position if you can, and then allowing yourself to roll back over that bolster. You may find you may need another sofa cushion or some other support jumpers for your head. Beautiful. And as I said just allow yourself to settle in. We'll be here for a few minutes. As I did say on Monday when we had our first couple of classes, this is a really beautiful time for allowing you to take a little bit more responsibility for your practice. Where you go, it draws you inwards a little more. It's like, I can't watch every little detail of your body. So you feel into how this is feeling for you. What we don't want is the head to drop back too far. We want the throat chakra to open, absolutely. But we don't want to have too big of a drop in the neck. Now I'm just going to have a look at you all. Beautiful. You can have your legs straight as an alternative. You can have butterfly legs, just beautiful to actually come into more of an extension in your lower back and in your sacrum with your butterfly legs, the soles of the feet together, knees wide. Of course, you can just have an easy cross-legged position with your legs as well. Make it comfortable. It's very much about the heart opening. And then just feel. And, you know, I think when we look back at this time, we'll go, how good was it when we had yoga at home on our decking with our own surroundings, our own smell? Now allow that to be brought in. Make this part of your practice. This doesn't mean we're not turning inwards. This just means that you take a few deeper, more conscious breaths. Perhaps if you're outside, if you're just like me, I've got incense here, which I will never burn when you're here. You know, maybe feel a different surface underneath you. Maybe there is carpet or a different type of mat or nothing at all. Maybe you can hear the sounds from your household and go, how lucky am I to have those sounds, to have family members, pets, or to just have the silence. Beautiful. And then come back to your breath. Allow your whole body to be filled with the breath. As you know, my teachings, the posture is the posture, but the posture is the vehicle. A beautiful, beautiful vehicle for us to connect inwards, for us to find that beautiful connection between mind, the heart or the soul, and the breath. Arms can be overhead or out to the side. Feel into that shoulder opening. But if that takes off the enjoyment of the rest of the pose, then don't do it. So I'm scrolling through. I'm seeing beautiful setups outside, inside. How lucky are we with our beautiful weather? Excellent. Nice. And just feeling into the shape. And give yourself a pat on the back. You have all these little distractions, you know, whether they come from your surroundings today, from your mind, and yet you can stay present. This is such a beautiful and essential skill that you can tap into in these uncertain times. And as you know, my yogis, this is what we've been preparing for. I know it sounds dramatic, but we can actually navigate these challenging times with an inner smile and an outer smile. This doesn't mean we're not taking this seriously. We are. It's beautiful to see you all. Beautiful to feel you all. Now allow yourself, let's make this Yin Yoga like. Allow yourself to cuddle up into that bolster. See perhaps that with each exhalation, can there be a little more of you sinking into that bolster, sinking into whatever support you have underneath your chest. And as we do that, can we allow ourselves to notice the broadening, the opening of this beautiful heart space? This being a backbend, notice that it's a bit like peeling layers off your sternum. Noticing energetically how the heart opens. Allow yourself to completely muscularly relax. In Yin Yoga, we do want to move, hydrate, heal our fascia away from the muscles. We want to keep our fascia, that sort of glad wrappy type of connective tissue that runs throughout the whole body. That's what we want to work with. That's what we want to hydrate. For that to happen, we need to muscularly relax. I know it's a long hold, but enjoy. Enjoy the feeling of just being held by the floor, by your mat, your carpet, and the bolster, or the bolster-like equipment. Feeling, allowing that sense of surrender. Now we were all slightly forced into something like this lately. Now let's do it consciously, with joy, with intent. Beautiful. And so like all yoga practice, this becomes your meditation. It becomes your vehicle of drawing inwards, of allowing the logic to come into the background. 70% of, or I think it's even more, of our decisions are based on our feelings. Let ourselves feel supported, joyful in the present moment. Beautiful expressions I'm seeing. Marvelous. Nice. Now, if you somehow held your limbs, crossed your limbs, see if you can cross for a few breaths the other way, so you had your legs crossed. Or your arms overhead becomes too strong, modify. Good. Now let's feel into your physical body. Notice the breath filling your whole body without necessarily having to take deeper breaths. Can we be with the intention that the breath nourishes, the prana of the breath, the energy nourishes our whole body? Whether we are in a beautiful supported backbend or we're in a full-on Urdhva Dhanurasana, all muscles on fire. Nice. Now I'd like you to scan your physical body. Bring the breath into each and every cell and set the intention to soften. Each and every cell of your body softens with the breath. You can do this. Tapping into our own healing power with our yoga practice. The power of our intention, our breath, our prana, our energy, and of course our shapes. Back bend, yes, extension of the spine physically, opening of the front of the torso, but also working energetically into the heart chakra. Yeah, that sense of love, that sense of compassion, and the sense of forgiveness. What comes up as you hear this? Maybe there's a sense of forgiveness for having unusual food choices. Let's make it this way. In these uncertain times, forgive yourself. Today's another day. Perhaps the yoga practice has been on the back burner a little. Forgive yourself. Today is another day. Next 10 breaths, if you've scanned your physical body, see if you can bring those next 10 breaths anywhere in your physical body where you feel, on a feeling sense, there's a little bit of tension. There needs to be a little bit more softening. Perhaps you stepped onto the mat with an ailment, or perhaps you want to foster the benefit of this posture and breathe into your heart, energetically, physically supporting yourself. 5 more conscious breaths. You make that choice where that breath goes. The awareness goes, the healing goes. Beautiful. Nice. Just allowing this to happen. And kudos to you all, that sense of stillness, even though I know your surroundings are different. Not everyone has got a tranquil studio to be in. Beautiful. Slowly now, and this is part, as much as the posture is part of the practice, the transition as well. See if you can stay present to your breath. As you now slowly bring your arms to the side of your body, starting to deepen your breath a little. Starting to make some gentle movement, and then let's bring the soles of the feet to the floor. Beautiful. Gentle movement, and then slowly, here's a few choices. You could slide forward. You could just stem your elbow into your bolster or your other equipment to come to seated. You could roll to the side. And then what we do in Yin, we take what we call a rebound. So I was to just push my proper way and coming to lying down as if you're going into Shavasana. That sense of rebounding. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just let your legs, Become straight, let your feet fall out to the side. Let your arms be slightly away from your body, fingers curled. Now, if it feels better for you to have one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly, or both hands on the belly, do that. Beautiful. Closing down the eyes if you can. I will come up so I can see you. That mini shavasana, that sense of rebounding, giving your body a chance to adjust again. The energy flows freely up and down the spine. Take your awareness where your prop was. Where was the bolster? Where was that blanket? Where was the mat? Where is that physical body part that was invited to surrender a little more into the bolster? Feel into that now. Quite often there can be a sense of pulsating or heat, or just a bit more of a spaciousness and awareness. And then we move into the area that we feel we have stretched. So the back was the compression, the front was that sense of elongation, that sense of tension. How does that area feel now? If you had your arms overhead, you had that stronger shoulder stimulation. Feel into that now. I know we all have these minor distractions, but you're physically present to your breath, present to your physical body. Beautiful. A beautiful unification of the mind, the soul, and the body. Brilliant. Yin Yoga practice on a Wednesday morning in sunny Melbourne doesn't get any better than this. Beautiful. Now the tradition is that between every shape there is a rebound, and then we move into the next shape. However, I find it useful to have a little bit of movement in between. You will not miss out on anything. I'm not doing anything fancy here. Just slowly start to deepen your breath. Deepen your breath. Become aware of gentle, natural, organic movements of your body, wiggling toes, fingers. Beautiful. Slowly bending the right knee, right sole of the foot to the floor. Left knee, left sole of the foot to the floor. I think you could just figure out what we're going to do. We're going to come into very gentle hip wiggles and our bridge poses. If you have space behind you, we'll do the arms overhead. So exhale, just flatten the spine, and then inhale, just lifting the hips, allowing the arms to come overhead. And then slowly rolling down. On your next breath, the arms come down, the hips come down. That's it. And then lifting up, hips lift, the arms go overhead, so the backs of the hands are back on the floor, whatever you can feel. And then slowly curling out. As the hips lower, the arms slower. Now, exhale, flatten, lifting up, and exhale, coming down. So we basically lift up on the inhalation and curl down on the exhalation. Now, main thing is that we curl the spine and then lift up. And when we descend, we curl the spine vertebra by vertebra and we come to the floor. So we can then feel that beautiful distinction between switching on those muscles and letting them go. Let's see if you can do a few more. If you don't want to do the arm flapping overhead, you don't have to. Of course, you modify. Beautiful. Let me see. What else I can see here on my screen. Lovely practice. Here we go. Yes, familiar faces and only avatars. It's all good. Beautiful. And then slowly coming to rest. Excellent. Now, got a little challenge for you. Because of who's joining us, we are going to lie over onto our belly and we're going to come into our half shoelace. So now maybe I'll show you front on. Am I not flashing? No. So it's like I'll show you kneeling. It's like crossing the arms. It's like giving you an extended corona hug. So the elbows come in front of your chest, but we are going to lie down. Just make yourself comfortable. So for me, my right arm goes to the left. I start with that. And my left arm comes to the front and goes to the right. And that's already a lovely challenge. Can you see? I'm not too close. And then the idea is that your chin just hangs on your upper arms. The idea is, of course, the further you have your elbows away from you, the less the intensity felt in your shoulders. And the closer you have it underneath your chest, or have your arms underneath your chest, the stronger the sensation. If you're at home and you've got all your equipment and you have a block, this could look like this. You could have, those of you practiced with me before, you can support your chin or you can support your forehead. Now that's when I step in normally in the Yin class. I make you all nice and comfy. I'll bring around some props. Today you're on your own. And just feel it. Yeah, that gives you that sense of responsibility. Now, how does that feel? Now, let's not be surprised if your deltoids, you know, those shoulder pads, are feeling challenged. Sensation between the shoulder blades, upper arms. Sometimes the question comes up, Bettina, am I going to turn my palms downwards or am I going to turn them upwards? Two different ideas. Notice what feels better. The school book says palms turning downwards, but that's the school book. Beautiful, let me see. Lovely, lovely to see you all. Brilliant, yeah, that's it. So they call it the straitjacket. I think that's a little harsh. Yeah, half shoelace. Arm shoelace, beautiful. Turn your head any which way, feel into how it feels good to you. And then let's make this yin leg. Allow yourself to muscularly relax. And as we all know as yogis, the relaxation starts in your jaw. Just scrolling through, having a look at everyone. Let your jaw be soft, eyes soft. Soften into this shape of arm shoelace. Beautiful expressions. Now, I'm not saying this is easeful. Can be quite a challenging shape. Let's feel into the other idea here as well. You don't have to see. I'm actually not doing the pose with you. I'm just talking. The idea as we're elevated, as we have our arms underneath our chest, we come into a gentle back bend. So let yourself be relaxed in your buttocks and in your lower back. And then notice how the fronts of the hips, your pubic bone, your lower belly pushes into the mat a little. Allow that whole area to be relaxed. Allow this to soften. This is part of the practice. Nice. Allow it to soften. Softening in. And kudos to you all for being able to navigate the challenges that you have. There is children walking around, there's pets coming, there's other noises. Beautifully navigated, staying present. Now this is challenging. We're going to change sides in a moment. Beautiful. The idea is, of course, you modify as soon as something is just too much uncomfortable. No, that's not a sentence. Too uncomfortable. We want to navigate discomfort, but we don't want to move too close to pain. See if you can surrender into your own hug a little more. Just a few more breaths. Beautiful, everyone. Beautiful, beautiful. Nice. A few of you have avatars, that's fine. Some of you I can see, there we go, that's it. Nice. Inner smile, outer smile. I know that's challenging. Beautiful. And then slowly, slowly, consciously, perhaps taking extra awareness into your transitions. Perhaps wiggle your toes. I know we want to come out of that shoulder sensation here. Wiggle the toes, lift the head. Come out. Sometimes it's useful to roll to the side and roll out of this shoelace. Take a moment. Just take a moment to see which arm is at the front and which one is underneath you, closer towards you. And then change. Start gently. The further away, the least challenging. So a really tight lace, you know, where you want that left arm goes over to the right even more, and the right arm comes over to the left. And then we're just hanging forward here. You don't have to have a prop. If you're comfortable like this, of course, if you're challenged in your shoulders, then it would look a little bit more like this. Yeah, but lacing. We're getting into, what are we getting into? That was my intention, the heart meridian and your lung meridian. Beautiful, moving, transitioning gently into autumn. Nice. And then notice how you can settle. You can settle easily in this, into this arm shoelace. How do we become muscularly soft? First, in the face, the jaw is soft, the eyes are soft. This doesn't mean there is no challenge in the physical body. Beautiful, nice, Anna, nice. Nice, Deborah, beautiful. Yeah, I can see some of you practiced with me online before. You positioned yourself differently, so I can see you fully. Beautiful. Relaxing the belly, relaxing your buttocks, your lower back. Feeling into your breath. And even though there can be physical challenges here, seeing if the breath can still fill your whole physical body. Playing with that prana apana, so inhalation, lifting, exhalation, bringing the energy down. We can do this even without our ujjayi breath. Nice. Feel into the beautiful sensation of broadening the back, making space in our fascia, in our connective tissue. So let's be true to the yin practice. Our yin practice allows us to observe everything. Observe the physical sensations, observing the breath, and allow everything that comes up to be validated. All the thoughts that come up, validate them, come back to breath. All the emotions that arise, they're all valid. And then you decide, maybe there is something, some emotions, some thought processes that you need to give energy right now. Or you just acknowledge them and come back to breath. Beautiful. Feeling into the tops of the feet, feeling into your thighs. Let your legs relax. Let your head surrender. Let your chest broaden. Nice. Making space with all our practice. Turning the focus inwards. I know this is a long hold. Beautifully done, everyone. Now, if the idea suits you with using the next 10 breaths in a way that's useful to you, then do that. If you have any ailments, if you wish to give that shape more energy, then breathe into where you feel this physical sensation being strongest. Slowly, slowly. Entertaining the thought to come out of this arm shoelace. Perhaps slowly starting to deepen your breath, switching on from your belly. Beautiful. And just slowly coming onto the palms of the hands. And you're welcome to just reach your arms forward and bring the palms of the hands together and bring your forehead to the floor. So make yourself long. So first, let's come into a stretch. Reaching long. I'll show you sideways. All good, Anna? And then slowly seeing if you want to take your rebound on your belly, or maybe you'd like to take your rebound on your back. And just feeling into the position. I might just see if I can talk to Anna here.
Hi.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. For some reason, I've lost you off my big screen. So I'm just trying to get you. I can hear you. I'm just trying to get you back.
Okay.
So that's all right. Carry on. I'll find my way back in a sec.
Okay then.
Thanks.
Scrolling through. Slowly now. Feeling into those broader shoulders. You felt already into where you felt the sensation the strongest. Notice that there is a slight sense of heat, a slight sense of tingling, and a slight sense of expansion. If you've turned your head to one side in your rebound on the belly, then turn it to the other side. Nice. And then I'd like you to come back to the breath and just noticing from our square breathing, could you feel into that gap again without making it a breath retention? But there is an inhalation breath and there is the gap, an exhalation breath and there is a gap. And now you can always leave and dial back in. Beautiful. Just notice, and maybe this is the golden nugget of the practice that you take with you. The fact that this breath awareness, awareness into the gap, awareness into that little pause between the active inhale and the active exhale is something that you could observe. And that's something that brings you back into present moment, into the now, into what is, out of the stories of the mind. Beautiful. And then very slowly, if you're on your belly, perhaps you could come onto your back. And then I'd like us to move into a few rounds of windscreen wipers. So the same setup as our bridge pose. The arms can be out to the side or overhead, soles of the feet to the floor. Keeping the feet as close to your buttocks as you can, and then allowing, and the feet are as wide as your mat, or if you don't have a mat, you know, wider than your buttocks. And then the knees to one side. Let's bring them, it doesn't matter to which side first. And then up to center again, and then over to the other side. And then you come into a little rhythm yourself, keep it moving. And as you bring your knees, say, to the right side, you bring your head to the left. And you do this a few more times. You can either connect it to the breath, but it doesn't have to be a vinyasa. Just feel into your body. And after a few rounds of movement, you just stay on one side and let the knees come as close to the floor as they will comfortably go. Turn your head to the opposite side. Now, if there starts to be a little bit of discomfort, too much than what you like, in your lower back or in your knee joints, then bring your feet away from your body a little. Just slide them down and go, oh yeah, that feels better, that feels different. But if you've just done that just because I said so and it wasn't useful, just bring them back. There's a different sensation along your spine depending on the relation between your torso and your feet. So your feet further away is often much gentler on the hips and on the spine than the feet closer to your buttocks. But that's something for you to feel into. Ah, nice. And the arms out to the side or overhead, just depending on what feels good. Beautiful. Now, when we do this in class, I often come around and I check in, of course, not often, always come around and check in with your comfort level. I'll go to this side and I'll show you. It could well be that your top knee, that one that sort of just dangles here mid-air, needs a bit of support. So you can have a pillow, a blanket, a sofa cushion, or just, you know, scrunch up your jumper. That's often where we could need support. Or your lower leg, the one that's a little closer to the floor, may not be all the way to the floor. You may need a little support there. Or knowing that we're not going to stay 5 minutes either side, you just feel into and let the sensation lessen with you softening into it. Ah, nice. And we're still on that one side. So you've decided to which side you roll your knees and to which side you roll your head. Physically, we're having a beautiful twist of the spine. On top of feeling this perhaps at the top of the top leg thigh, inner hips, lower belly, and that beautiful side stretch, particularly on the side you're moving away from, that top side of the torso. Now, because we don't want to have a muscle stretch, see if you can just let the knees relax, hips relax, legs, softening into this shape. All yoga asks us to soften, even if we're in a warrior one, it's like switch this on, switch that on. We soften into it. And we soften with the breath and the intention. Beautiful, beautiful expressions, everyone. You can see some of you are in the sunshine. Beautiful. Muscularly relaxed. Are you? Is your jaw soft? Are you still practicing with that sense of inner smile, outer smile? The sense of broadening the chest. The sense of letting the whole body be filled with air, with prana, with energy. Beautiful. Lovely expressions. I'm just going to have a look. Nice. And just enjoy. I mean, how lucky you are to be gently nudged into having a home practice. Ta-da. Yeah, who would have thought? A home practice. Nice. Allow yourself now to feel into your lower back. Whether that's where you feel sensation or not, doesn't matter. Feeling into your lower back. What's the feeling sensation in your lower back? Slowly now, allow your awareness to come into your chest. Awareness into your side ribs. See if you can have in this shape a few deliberate, stronger, longer, deeper inhalations into your side ribs. Nice. Just letting the diaphragm, letting the ribs expand. Beautiful. And then slowly, if I haven't said that before, it's beautiful to just lift from your belly as we change sides. So just a gentle connection to your bandhas, bringing the soles of the feet back to the floor, the arms to the side. Nice. Let's do a few pelvic tilts before we come into the other side. So you're sitting up just like your bridge pose, and then exhale, flattening the spine into the mat. Yeah, so the tailbone lifts, and then allow it to relax. Yeah. Exhale, flatten the spine, pelvic tilt, and inhale, releasing. So the release allows you to have almost like your whole hand between the floor and your back. Yeah, so exhale, flatten, pelvic tilts, and release. Nice. Just balancing the area between the left hip and the right hip. Beautiful. You can keep going a few more times, or you can decide you bring your arms to the side or overhead. Feet, if you had them close to the buttocks to start with, do that again, and then bring your knees over to the other side, the head to the opposite side. Beautiful. Our windscreen wiper made into a yin shape. Now approach this side afresh. This is a different side. There may have been, tighter lower back on this side. The sacrum might be a little more stuck. The hips are different on this side. Feel into it. As I said, the feet close to the buttocks and further away from the buttocks makes a difference to the feeling sensation. Seeing if you can be fully present to this moment, fully present with the breath. You notice the inhalation breath, the gentle gap. Notice the exhalation breath, the gentle gap. If you haven't already, turn your head away on the opposite side, away from your knees. Full, gentle twisting of the spine. Take any props that you need. Most likely the top knee needs to be supported. Excellent positions, everyone. Beautiful. Broadening and opening into that heart space. Nice. Good. Now there isn't anything wrong. Let's just stay present to the breath. If you take this time, as I always say, because you want to be here, you want to be still, you want to be guided. If there is something though that you feel you need to give energy to, there's something a question you have to answer, or something that you have to work out, and you want to use that time for that, there's nothing wrong. It's up to your discernment, your responsibility, how you use your time. However, the idea, as we look at how yoga practice holistically, is that sense of the connection with the mind, the body and the heart, with the use of the breath, with the use of that sense of mindfulness, being present. So yes, that project that we have to work on, that thing we have to do next, it's there, but now is practice. Now is observing those fluctuations so they can lessen. Beautiful. Now I'd like you to bring your awareness sense, your feeling sense into your belly. Just that whole area of your mid-belly. Simply to notice, how does this feel? What's the feeling sense? What's the quality of the area of your belly? It's just for you to answer. It's for you to feel. Perhaps you notice that beautiful spaciousness. Perhaps there's parts of your belly that aren't so spacious. There's a little stuckness that you can feel. Or maybe there is a part of your belly where you don't have any awareness sense, where the feeling sense, the awareness sense just doesn't happen. Just notice that. Nice. And maybe the next 10 breaths, you want to bring those next 10 breaths into where you feel in your belly, if there is an area that you just can't access, or that feels a little tight or a little stuck. Allow the energy of those 10 breaths and the awareness to move into there. Allow that to become unstuck. Nice. And with a softness, the breath is soft, the eyes are soft. A sense of allowing, the sense of surrender. And yet the sense of presence, and we're aware that there's probably a stronger sensation somewhere, softer sensation somewhere else. This is like what we're asked at the moment. The outside world is in crisis, in chaos. And by us keeping a softness and a sense of surrender, doesn't mean we think that situation is okay. Doesn't mean that we wish for this to go on forever. Sense of acceptance and that sense of finding that sense of inner peace. Beautiful. Well done, everyone. Slowly now, observe your breath. Observe your breath even more. And before we come out, we have a few stronger breaths into the ribcage. Feeling your ribcage expand with a few stronger, deeper breaths. Beautiful. And notice maybe this feels different now in your lower back even. Beautiful. And then switching on from your belly, coming back to center, move in a way that feels good, perhaps a few rounds of Apanasana. So keeping the hands on the knees or the shins, exhale, drawing the knees into the chest, and inhale, bringing the knees forward. So it isn't really about the knees, it's about that gentle roly-poly action up and down the spine. If you want to increase the sensation, bring your forehead to the knees, exhale, Apanasana, lifting up, inhale, curling out. You're welcome to do that for a few rounds, or you're welcome, of course, to move straight into your rebound position. Nice and slow. Beautiful. Maybe even extending on the posture as we do in class, bringing the arms overhead, the legs up and lifting into a hairpin position. Exhale, lifting. Inhale, coming out. And then again, when we come into rebound, we find that beautiful difference between muscularly engaged and muscularly relaxed. Rebounding now when you're ready. Beautiful. Make sure you're warm enough. It's getting a bit chilly in here. Nice. Feet to the side. If you feel it's appropriate for you to have your rebound on your belly, then of course you roll over onto your belly. Otherwise, feel into all the areas that I've just sung out to you. Where did you feel the shape? Feel your whole body. Feel first individually and then feel it as a whole. How good does that feel to have an awareness sense of your whole physical body from the top of the head to your tippy toes? And this doesn't mean there may not be an area where you go, oh, I wish that would feel different. It's that sense of feeling alive, feeling connected, and still maybe have a little tickle in your lower back. Maybe still the belly is a little tender and not all the areas are accessible. And yet we're still able to feel the body as a whole. As a whole, and we have a physical body as well. Those times that ask us to be in our heads, that's normal. Yoga practice brings you back to your body. That awesome temple that you have that allows you to do what you need to do, what you want to do. The mind is not existing on its own. It's all just in relation to something. So yoga practice, as the third sutra says, it's turning the mind inwards towards itself. Because it needs that outer validation for something. Bit of philosophy in the classes, as you know, if you haven't practiced with me for a while, this is how things are. Beautiful, beautiful. Now, it brings us to the hour. I would like us to, if you want to sort of toddle along with me, or if you want to toddle out in your living room, you can take your Shavasana now. If you're restricted on time, or if you expected this to just be an hour. Otherwise, I'd like us to come back to a seated position and we do Shavasana later. Or we all chant an Om. Let's chant an Om here. Let's all come. Or if you want to stay lying down in your lounge room, I mean, you can always do what you want to do. As if I could tell you what to do. You could take the Om lying down. Or you come up to seated, take the Om, take the closing chant, then take Shavasana or stay seated with me and we do a few other bits. Just notice. Let's make it Anjali Mudra though. Let's bring the hands in prayer in front of the heart. I easily sit in a half lotus, but it may not be you. You can just sit kneeling. Yeah, so Virasana, like this. Cross-legged or just leaning against the garden fence. Closing down the eyes, hands in prayer. Now I'd like us to direct the breath up and down the spine. You can do this lying down as well. So the prana moving up, so drawing the inhalation up from the tailbone to the top of the head. Whether you're seated or whether you're lying down, there's a sense of lengthening. And your exhalation breath brings with it a sense of broadening as you bring the exhale down from the top of the head to the tailbone. Yeah, that's it. Let's just do that a few more times in your own rhythm. Prana and apana, so the lifting of the breath up through the spine, top of the head lengthening, and then broadening. Beautiful. Few more rounds, filling your whole body with prana, with air, with energy. And maybe that will be your practice, just a few minutes if you can't be locked in here or if you don't have time. Just a gentle breathing practice. Beautiful, let go of that. We'll chant an Om in our closing chant. Nice, let's exhale together, empty the lungs. Take an inhale. We'll do a call and response. So I'll sing it twice and you sing it the second time. Lokaha, lokaha, samastaha, samastaha, sukhino bhavantu, sukhino bhavantu. Now together. Lokaha samastaha sukhino bhavantu. Beautiful. Let's bow the head forward. Just a gentle bowing forward. It's a beautiful mudra indicating our wish to merge our intellect, our logic, our thinking with our feeling, our heart, and our knowing. And so with that mudra, we wish to also acknowledge the idea that effort and ease can coexist. The light and the dark, the yin and the yang. And when it comes to our emotions, the sense of despair can coexist with the sense of joy and playfulness. A sense of happiness and almost an ecstatic state can coexist with a feeling of sadness, overwhelm. The inhalation breath is as useful and as essential as the exhalation breath. The head and the heart, finding the sense of equilibrium. With the head slightly bowed, let's keep it there. And then let's bow all the way forward. Namaste. Namaste. I hope you can stay. I will talk you through a beautiful Shavasana. So coming back onto your back, going through the body, releasing, relaxing each and every body part. Be like a body scan. We'll have another 5 to 7 minutes. So if you need to leave, thank you for having joined us this morning. Hope you can join us again next week, or tonight, or on Friday, or on Saturday. Otherwise, let's come into that comfortable position here. Finding rest. Shavasana needs to be part of the practice. It's essential to find deep rest. So notice how the feet fall out to the side. If you wanted to, you can bring a bolster underneath your knees, but of course, feel into what's useful to you this morning, or this afternoon rather. Maybe a blanket on top of you, hands to the side of the body, fingers slightly curled. I'd just like you to find that sense of comfort. I'm going to sit up as I talk you through. I'd like you to stay. Nice. So again, coming back to breath. Notice the inhalation breath. Become aware of the exhalation breath. Notice how you can allow your eyes to sink into the eye sockets. Eliciting that sense of relaxation. Allow your jaw to be soft. Lips just gently touch. Notice where your tongue is resting. Notice the sense of space in your shoulders and in your chest. Notice the easeful movement of your rib cage. Notice the belly completely at ease. Allow your hips to be spacious. Notice your buttocks and your hips against the floor. That sense of complete surrender, complete relaxation. Feet fall out to the side. Notice your whole being completely at ease. Breathing your whole body. your whole body at rest. Finding comfort in that new idea of resting, apart and aside from bedtime. Enjoying the stillness of the physical body, softness of the breath, and the clarity of mind. Enjoy. Just a couple more minutes. You're very welcome to stay where you are, of course, you're at home. Just gently allow the sound of the wind chimes or the wind chime. This is our earth wind chime. Allow yourself to be brought back to your body if you drifted off. Notice your surroundings. And if you're staying on in your Shavasana, do so. You can still do and follow the invitation that I give out. If you want to come up to seated and officially finish with me, you're welcome to do that. In that case, I suggest you roll over to the right side into that fetal position. And if you're staying, just stay. Notice your breath. The side-lying fetal position, or even if you're not into that just yet, closing a practice like this simply indicates the fact that this is now, from now on, this is a fresh start. This is a new beginning. We have shifted energy, we have moved energy, and the shape of the fetal position just represents that. So whether you stay on in Shavasana or not, you still have that sense of new beginning. And so I want you to just honor the experience that you had this morning for what it was. Kudos to you all, and make sure you thank yourself again for coming to the mat, doing a home practice with my guidance. You could have all just, stayed in bed or be on the sofa or not do anything at all. So doing the practice is awesome. It does take effort. It does take effort to step onto the mat, even if it's right outside your bed. So acknowledge that. Perhaps you want to bring to the forefront of your mind again your intention, if you set an intention. Our intention is for us to come together as a group and just to ground and to find that beautiful heart space and to come into our physical body. And then we finish with 3 things we're grateful for. Often in class, we just do one thing you're grateful for, or we do finding something we're good at, our strength, or what we're proud of. But I think in these challenging times, gratitude